2. How's it going, guys? Trey Clark here with RJ. Welcome to another episode of Trey and RJ Save the World. How you doing today, buddy?
Man, I'm outstanding. It's beautiful here in South Texas, getting plenty of good sun, boosting my immune system. How about you?
Man, better not deserve, as Dave Ramsey said. Tried to do a podcast out there on the bay this morning, but the wind brought me back inside, but it was all good. So we're going to jump right into this. We're going to talk about pretty much what everyone is talking about, but the Michigan governor, Whitmer, has kind of been running the gauntlet here. Why don't you fill us in on your take on what's going on here?
Well, I'm doing the same thing you are right now, Trey, and probably most Americans, during, the COVID-19, most Americans don't have a lot of time to do other stuff. I'm watching a lot of different news, a lot of different videos, listening to a lot of different podcasts, trying to get as much information I can. And one of the things that you and I say every single day is, just to be cognizant of your amendments and the Constitution and how the Second Amendment supports all of the other amendments, but the most important amendment, which is the First Amendment, which is freedom of speech. And one of the things I see a lot of elected officials and politicians doing is they're overlooking the First Amendment and our right to freedom. And one of the things that I heard Governor Whitmer say in a presser yesterday is comparing the protests in Michigan to World War II and comparing it like they were working building ammunitions, airplanes, tanks, bombs, all of this when, the Americans should be doing what they were doing. Well, it's not even in the same realm or the same thing at all. They were protesting their rights.
World War II was good for the American economy because it put people at work. They were converting these car manufacturers or car factories into, they were making whatever the military needed. And it helped our economy. This is not, I can promise you that.
Correct. I mean, it was absurd how the comparison she was trying to make. The citizens of Michigan, they were protesting wanting to go back to work, also protesting her putting in place right before Easter that you couldn't go to your second home in Michigan, which is known for people having second homes with lakes and everything. And then you couldn't even, have 6 people together to celebrate. I'm talking about a family, not like they're just getting out in public. So in Michigan and a lot of other states, they're tired of it. They want to go back to work and they're out protesting. And she's she's downgrading them, telling them, you need to get in line and do what they did in World War II. It's not even the same comparison. It didn't make sense.
What would you have thought if 6 months ago you'd have said they're going to tell you to stay home, your own government, and you'll do it willingly? You're going to stand on a striped line. You're going to wear a mask when they tell you to. You're going to listen to a bullhorn, tell you how to assemble, just like, probably boot camp or something like that.
Just like me and everyone else, I wouldn't think you were as crazy as most people think we're crazy, but you and I have kind of been following a lot of this stuff for years and kind of see where it's been going with the New World Order, the deep state, and the establishment. I mean, we didn't start just following this stuff when all this started. So we kind of had a little idea of, what's going on. And one other thing real quick that I saw yesterday in the news is Dick Cheney's daughter is a senator in Wyoming, and I consider him a part of the deep state and the establishment. So I want everybody to understand this is not about Republican or Democrat. This is about the deep state, the establishment, and the New World Order against us. What she did is they are recommending at the health department in that county in Wyoming is that if you have been quarantined or have COVID-19, you wear a pink wristband around so everybody can point at you and stay away from you because of that. That reminds me of what the Germans did to the Jews before they put them into the concentration camps and killed millions of them. What do you think?
Well, let's not forget that, we have people that are still here to talk about the Japanese were, rounded up and put in concentration camps. We've had a very good stretch of being able to be complacent, of comfort, and we forget that things can go very poorly when we get bad actors at the wheel And there's no doubt that there are some there for sure. Would you disagree with me there?
No, I definitely don't disagree at all with that. It's just all falling in kind of like we thought it would go. You and I, have dealt with it a lot differently and probably a lot of other people because we're not worried about fear and don't let fear control our lives. But a lot of people are controlled by fear, and they're using fear to control a lot of people's lives and scare them. That's just what they're doing.
It's the ultimate motivator.
One of the things that you and I talked about earlier was Susan got a call from a friend of hers in Italy, boots on the ground, and told her a story that she told you that you then told me about some things that the media is not reporting at all. And I kind of have some background to add to that.
It's bizarre. So apparently in Italy, they had a port dispute with China, and they had a national campaign called Hug a Chinaman. And I'm going to leave it at that and let you run with that because about where they were sending people from in China and what's going on there. And,
After Wuhan, the virus spread, there were over 5,000 people 2 to 3 days after that were displaced all over the world. To me, sounds a little weird, whether they did it on purpose or not. Another thing, they're disgruntled. The Italian people are disgruntled with the Chinese. So,
Italians really disgruntled?
Yeah, disgruntled people.
Who'd have thought?
So do you or I think or anyone else, maybe China said, okay, screw you. We're going to infest you with, the flu or COVID-19. But kind of to add to that, China,
the port was a main entry.
It's a main entry there, and the reason it is China owns a bunch of textile mills in Italy that manufacture leather goods, which people know that
Italian leather.
That's Italian leather. I mean, that's what they do. They did it that way. Another thing is they're not reporting is that you have 4 generations of Italian people live in a 1,200 square foot equivalency of apartment or smaller, and the young are spreading this to the old. They smoke a lot. They have compromised immune systems. They're one of the oldest populations in the world, but they don't ever talk about any of those things as to why it's happened and, what's going on. And so I started thinking to myself, which I've thought this for a long time, this was something that was planned out. There was research. This is not something that just happened. And it's been planned for a while, and we're getting the blunt of it. And what I hate the most about it is the American people are, the ones that are suffering because of this.
Oh, I didn't hear about this until today. Did you know that President Obama signed a bill that let propaganda from the media be legal? Beforehand, the media was not allowed to intentionally deceive. Why in the world would you do that? So just pay attention, keep your head on a swivel. We're all shooting from the hip here. New ground for all of us. And we're going to wrap this up, and hopefully this is helpful for you guys. We're not claiming to be an expert on anything other than just being regular people trying to get by just like you guys are. RJ, how's your soul today, man?
Man, my soul's great. It's beautiful outside. Again, I can't reiterate enough. If the sun's shining, get outside, get sun. It boosts the immune system. It puts vitamin D3 in your body, which you can get some of it through foods. Hey, if you're not into getting outside and you stay inside, do yourself a favor and buy a vitamin D3 supplement. Also, when you sweat, your body releases toxins and it purifies your body. It gets rid of viruses. It gets rid of all the toxins in your body. So just think about those things every single day. Use common sense and everything will be good. How's your soul?
Man, my soul is actually better than I deserve. One thing I want to remind us all, including myself, is that what propaganda does, and it's shoved down our throats constantly, is it affects our mental state. So it does put us in a state of fear, but it doesn't work once you pay attention to it. What I try and do is get up in the morning and just have a positive attitude. But your mental state is as important as anything out there, and it is under attack. They are coming at you from every direction. Hope you all are having a great day. kiss and hug on your loved ones. And RJ, thanks for hanging out, man.
Enjoyed it.
All right, buddy.
I only leave when I'm home. I only stay when I'm gone. I only ride to get thrown. I only tread not to sing. And I can't move when I'm bound by the weight of this town. But I got these wheels in the ground. I'm not saying but I'm sound. I only smoke when I drink. I only smoke when I drink. I only drink when it hurts. It only hurts every day.